Without a doubt, I am a lover of all things neutral, not just for handbags, but anything I consider to be a wardrobe investment. Like black and browns are my core colors. If I'm feeling really frisky, I'll venture into creams and whites and maybe even shades of gray. Like that's how I've been for as long as I can remember. Now, there's no need to diagnose this, but I'm pretty sure it's a personality thing. I'm very much a like to fly under the radar type person. Like I hate drawing attention to myself, and I just think I'm too self-conscious to wear a bag that's super bright and eye-catching. Again, I'm sure there's a whole other discussion in there to unpack, but maybe I feel like if I wore a bright colored bag, the bag would more likely be wearing me instead. Like, does that make sense? Now, I think there's also a practicality aspect of only having neutral bags because I hate the idea of spending so much money on a bag that in my mind has just limited styling options. So I worry about buying a bag that I can only wear with either certain outfits or for certain occasions or in certain seasons. So neutrals just seem like the safest bet. Now, you've probably noticed some recent soul searching in my videos in terms of where do I go from here when it comes to my handbag collection. I've talked about the holy grail bags that I will no longer be pursuing, and I've talked about my new bag buying criteria. Now, I've budgeted for one more bag purchase this year, but for the first time, I don't actually have a bag in mind because I've nixed all the bags that were originally on my list. And so as an unexpected byproduct of searching for a new bag that fits my new criteria, I have found myself perusing various fashion houses in the pre-loved market. And along the way, I've come across some beautiful bags that are shockingly not in black or brown. And now I'm reconsidering whether it's time to add some color to my collection. So in this video, I'm excited to share with you some specific colors that have jumped out to me lately, and I'll share the bags I originally saw the colors in. So not saying that the bag style is what I have my heart set on. Several of these bags are ones that I've said I'll never buy, but really it's more about their color. So I'm so excited to share this with you. So please let me know what y'all think. So the first color I've been finding myself drawn to is lilac, like a really pretty pastel lavender purple. I just think there's something so fresh and young about that color. And I'm also noticing for the first time how beautifully it actually goes with neutrals like whites and creams and tans. And so the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking it's actually probably an easier color to style than I've given it credit for. And I know lilac is a bit of a trend color at the moment, but I do hope it stays. I think also if you, like me, have a little bit of a yellow undertone, depending on the season and how tanned I get, I think lilac is actually a super complementary color for my skin tone. Now, I've seen quite a few lilac bags floating around on Fashionphile. I've seen some beautiful mini Fendi peekaboos in lavender. Bottega also has some Jodis, some pouch clutches, and their older style double knot bags. I've seen those on Fashionphile in the beautiful lilac as well. My concern is maybe lilac is a more appropriate color for spring, summer, and maybe a little less appropriate for fall, winter. So again, not exactly a bag for all seasons, but I still think it's a beautiful color nonetheless. And while I say I'm not sold on a particular bag style, I have seen some lilac bags that didn't quite have the same effect on me. Like I'm thinking in my mind, the Chanel mini reissue. I've seen quite a few of those on Fashionphile, but I don't know. Those just didn't speak to me in the same way as say Bottega's take on lavender did. And maybe it's because with Bottega, especially the older styles, there's really no hardware involved. I don't know if that's part of it. But regardless, lilac is for sure one of the main colors that have recently caught my attention. The next color is yellow, especially in a beautiful pastel because it's like almost neutral, but not quite. And unlike a white or a cream, I don't think I would have to worry about the material or the stitching like yellowing over time because it's already yellow. I've mentioned the Celine Triomphe bag in the colors Sunlight and Pollen before. Pollen, I think that's the one that's a tad more yellow or warmer than Sunlight. I think Celine also has another yellow called Papyrus. I don't follow Celine, so I don't know for sure if these yellows are like released for different seasons. But again, I think against that gold Triumph hardware, that color is so stunning, especially that color combo. And even more so than lilac, I don't see yellow with gold being a color, you know, I just see it as a softer extension of the gold hardware. And I don't think that would be particularly hard to style either, especially with my neutral wardrobe. The thing is, if I were to get something in this type of yellow that's not the Celine Triumph, it would still have to have yellow gold hardware in my opinion. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like the lilac where I think the color actually looks better without hardware. Hence I love the lavender bags that Bottega has. I just think that that tonal yellow on gold look is what pulls the yellow into being more of a neutral color, right? Oh, also, I know Hermes has a new yellow in their 2023 color lineup, and I think it's just called Sun. To me, that yellow is a little too mustardy. But on that note, if any of you have the Celine Triumph bag, what do you think about it as a travel bag? Like, how easy is it to pack? How does the calfskin leather hold up to like rain or snow? Again, those are two of my 5 big buying criterias at the moment for my next bag. And plus, the Triumph silhouette isn't like any of the Holy Grail bags that I've since taken off my list, so I don't feel bad replacing. I mean, so it's not like I'm replacing my Holy Grail bag with another similar looking bag, you know? And if that was the case, I'd end up right back where I started. And by the way, if you are enjoying this video, it would mean the world to me if you'd consider subscribing. Here at A Briefcase of Luxury, I love sharing my thoughts on life learning and luxury from the perspective of a business professor by day and a self-proclaimed luxe lover by night. And while I have no intentions of quitting my day job, I would love to grow this channel, and I couldn't do that without you. So a giant thank you from the bottom of my heart for those of you who have subscribed, liked, commented, or shared my videos. Now, the third color that has caught my attention would be a true blue. And for me, I can pinpoint down to the exact moment, the exact bag where this color first jumped out to me. And that would be Mulberry's earlier spring summer release this year of their pigment blue color. They released it in a series of their classic bags, and honestly, this color was what brought me down the rabbit hole of even looking at bags that weren't in black or brown. And this is a true primary blue, and it is so stunning against the gold hardware. Like, I mean, the gold and blue combo, like those colors are made for each other, but Mulberry's take on pigment blue, I mean, that saturation is insane. Like, it's unapologetic. I think I've said that before, but unlike yellow and lilac, can I realistically see myself pulling this color off? I mean, to be honest, not really. Like in this case, this combo would definitely be outside of my comfort zone. And I'm also thinking like Hermes's Blue France or Electric Blue. I just wouldn't know how to style this saturation of blue aside from wearing something else that's super high contrast, like just white or black. And so if I were to be more realistic with blues, then maybe something like navy would be nice. I don't currently have a navy bag besides my Longchamp travel bag, or something that has a bit of a denim hue. I think that would be beautiful as well. I know Lady Dior, I've seen several on Fashionphile in this beautiful dusty denim blue color. I think that shade is extremely doable for a blue, and I think it works really well with a neutral palette. Now, speaking of denim-inspired colors, what do y'all think about Hermes's new re-release of Blue Jean? Now, I wasn't entirely a fan the first time, and I'm still not a fan now. I mean, even like on a brand new 2023 Hermes bag, that color still looks old or faded or aged, you know what I mean? Anyway, if I really were to stick with this pigmented blue, maybe I'd consider like a smaller accent bag, like maybe one of Mulberry's mini bags, or like a micro Fendi peekaboo, which Fashionphile had one for the longest time, and the price for that one dropped all the way down to like $500, and I'm kind of kicking myself a little for not getting it when I had a chance during one of their extra 10% off sales, even though I know I said peekaboos are off the list. The other option would be to find something with a pattern with that bright blue. So the first bag that comes to mind, or the first pattern more like it, is Dior's Toile de Jouy classic blue and white design. I mean, I still stand by this. I think the book tote bags in any of their Toile de Jouy design, I think they're stunning, period. It's just more art than it is a bag, and I'll probably just treat it like art for my bag shelf than a functional bag. Now, if I were to go down this route, I know the traditional bag sizes just probably aren't going to be practical for me. I mean, maybe the small book tote wouldn't be bad, but if anything, I think the mini book tote is absolutely darling. And even the phone tote with the added strap, I think that's so cute. Now, I wish there were more reviews here on YouTube on both of these bags, but they just don't seem to be as popular. The problem again is that the Trois de Juillet pattern is probably more suitable for spring, summer, but gorgeous nonetheless, especially in the mini sizes. I think it'd be easy to pack. So that's great, but again, not the most practical for anything else. The next color would be a pink, but not like a pastel pink, more like a fuchsia pink. I'm not big into pastel pinks because I think it washes my coloring out, which is weird because I know lilac is similar, but I'm pretty sure there's some color correcting theory going on for why pastel pink just seems to washes me out, whereas pastel purple doesn't quite have that same effect. And maybe this is me, especially when it comes to the fuchsia pink, maybe this is me jumping onto the Barbie core trend a little late, but I am finding myself looking at the fuchsia color a little bit more closely. Now, this color was one of my mom's favorite growing up, and I don't know, maybe to me, and please, no offense to anyone, it looks like one of those fun colors that older women seem to gravitate towards, you know what I mean? And maybe all this proves is that I'm getting into that age group where I see the appeal, but colors like fuchsia or Hermes's like rose pourpre or magnolia, like those are colors that I would have never gone for in my 20s or even in my early 30s, but not gonna lie, they're starting to grow on me now. I just don't know if I'm that invested into the color that I'm willing to drop thousands and thousands of dollars on it versus just finding something more affordable to play around with in that color at first. Plus, I saw this Chanel mini flap on Fashionphile in that beautiful like raspberry fuchsia. It was in excellent condition. It was for under retail, and Hubs was just not a fan. He said it looked like a toy purse, and I kind of get it. Maybe it has to do with the size. So I'd say, I mean, this color is a little lower in priority compared to the other three, but it's definitely still growing on me nonetheless. So honestly, those are the main colors that have caught my eye recently. A soft lilac, a pastel yellow, a power blue, and a bright magenta fuchsia pink. Now, along this journey of looking at colors, there were a couple of others that I considered, but I moved away from them fairly quickly. Like, I think sage green was pretty. I looked at that several times. I'm thinking primarily like Bottega's sage. Also, for a hot second, I considered orange, especially like Hermes's classic orange. I think that's just because there's quite a few orange Kellys and Birkins on the pre-loved market for a decent price. And now, having had orange in the past as a school/work color, I can tell you it's not terribly hard to style, especially if you are more of a neutral person. It can function well as a pop of color that goes very well with browns and tans and caramels. And along those same lines, for another hot second, I considered red, like a true red, because in its own right, red is a classic, timeless color. I mean, at one point even, a red Birkin 30 with gold hardware was a dream bag for like my younger self. And even now, red is still one of the more affordable colors on the pre-loved market. But I mean, if I were to realistically look in my closet, I don't own a single item in the color red, like not even a sock or a shirt. Like that color is non-existent in my wardrobe. I mean, I have colors like coral, maybe a little bit of rust, but not a true red. And sure, I think a true red could go with a neutral palette too, like kind of like orange, but I don't know, I think like the pigment blue, a true red would look better with another high contrast color combo, so like black and white. And so again, maybe I just need to play around with the color first before investing too much into it. So maybe if this really is the route I want to go down, maybe what I need to do is find more affordable contemporary designer brands who do these colors well, just to test them out first before committing to them at like the designer price level.